everybody, and welcome to Nerdsplaining Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Da Silva. With me, as always, my co-host, Jose
What it
Mel.
is, what it was, all you nerds out in the world. So much to be excited about. Two big TV shows and Star Wars. Um,
Hey! Ouch! Jeez! So mean!
I know. We're gonna do our Acolytes episode 4 review, but it's other stuff to talk about. Not a lot, but we got two big shows: The Boys, Game of
And
Thrones,
Game of Thrones
Game
or
of
House
Thrones,
of
or
Dragon,
House of
whatever you guys
Dragon,
want to
House of
call it.
Dragon. What I call
It's
Game of
all the
Thrones, same.
same.
Tomatoes,
Yeah.
tomatoes, whatever.
Right.
This is a big.
Star Wars Acolyte, it's all the
Yeah,
same.
it's a big week. A lot of stuff if you're a nerd to watch. Now, not a lot of news.
Yeah,
Not a lot. But before we get into all of that, 'cause I know you got your Danger Squad, your comic book, animation
that's right.
coming out. You're
Getting
working on it.
some big. I mean, one of the announcements I can make is that Danger Squad has signed a deal with Kinetic Comics. It's a small indie, and they're going to be distributing the book. So we're very excited about that. So we've been doing a bunch of announcements and posts for that, and we've been getting more views like on TikTok and Instagram and Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. And it's just very
Did
exciting. Yeah.
anybody mention the website to you?
No. Why?
So I was on there just tooling about and noticed. Well, you probably should talk about this off air, but whatever, we're on air, whatever. But it seems like there's something off, like something, I don't know, something's like it's someone
Huh.
hacked. It sounds like someone hacked into it. It was weird. I don't know. I don't know. You may want to check that
Okay.
out.
All right. I'll take a look at
If
it. Thank
anybody
you
out
for.
there, jump on there, check it out. Maybe I'm crazy, but you guys should go on the
All
site
right.
anyway.
It it's funny. Somebody sent me a message the other day just saying like some of the posts have been coming off sort of like
It's weird. Like
something
it's
pops in. Yeah, I don't know. All right.
yeah. I
Well,
don't know. It seems off-putting. It was weird. I don't know,
well,
but
well, if anyone goes to dangersquad.com or if anyone is following the social media, if you see something weird, please let me know. I'll talk to my web guy. But yeah, thank you so much. I'll take a look at that.
yeah. But yes, I'm sure it's very exciting for you. And congratulations on,
Yes.
on
Thank you.
on getting
Thank
this
you.
going. We'll have more information, of course.
Right. We'll do a
As
big episode talking just about that because listen, after Deadpool, there's really nothing else going on. So we will. It'll definitely help fill up a space.
and like I said, even for Danger Squad, the bar is low. You have
I mean,
you got Madam
I
Web,
mean,
right? I mean, and
if
and
it,
probably
yeah,
the Acolyte's not too far behind. We'll get into that later, but
I feel like as long as we're on par with Acolyte and better than Man Web, it's a pretty sweet spot to
if
be
you're on
in.
par with
Pretty good.
Acolyte, and I have some bad news for you. But whatever.
Ah,
I'm just
jeez.
saying,
Oh boy.
be better than Acolyte. And just all I'm saying,
I
dude.
Acolyte. Aye. That's what's going to be the whole.
But we'll get into all that. But one quick tidbit I want to touch base on because we talked about Jordan Peele.
Yes, we
And
did last
obviously,
week.
and
Yeah.
a couple weeks ago, he was talking to Kevin Feige and all that, maybe coming on board to the MCU. You and I
Sure.
kicked around what he could do. We said Blade might be the right one.
Sure.
Lo and behold, the director left, which we talked about last week. It's just that whole thing's a disaster. It's cursed, man. I don't know. Whatever's coming with Blade, it's freaking cursed.
I don't know if it's cursed or if it
I
was
don't
like a
know.
secret plan. I don't know.
I
I
think
don't know.
the Mahershala Ali's agent came out and he was kind of like he can't believe it's been 5 years and there's been nothing. He was kind of he had nice things to say. I mean, whatever. I think he's just frustrated, which I get.
Sure.
Because no one's getting paid. It's funny because when they made an announcement 5 years ago, they also announced Thor for Doctor Strange, Guardians, the Marvels, and all those movies got made.
All those movies got
They
made.
didn't get made. They got announced. It was Blade. But
And if you look back at it, Blade was probably the easiest story to tell, as opposed to like Multiverse of Madness, the
right, I
Marvels, and
mean, you
everything else.
figure they had the. I don't know. It was weird, but whatever. But yeah, we talked about the director left. Maybe Jordan Peele might be the choice here. I think you and I agreed that was probably the best choice, right?
Sure.
But I don't think that's the case anymore because there was an announcement his next movie is coming out and it had like a little cryptic message but had the date of 10, I think it's 10/23/26 was the date right now, Halloween. But
Okay.
it's for those thinking, it's Blade. No, it's a Universal picture, man. Let's just get that out of the way right now. So for Universal,
It's Blackula.
if maybe that'd be kind of cool.
It would, wouldn't it?
But that being said, it probably does not leave room for Blade.
No, no, it
Unless for
doesn't.
some reason Blade's gonna come out 2028, which I can't imagine that would be something they're looking at because
What isn't it still on the docket to be made, like to come out like 2025?
it's gonna be soon out of the docket. That movie's not coming out next year. You can
Oh,
there's no
wow.
director. We haven't finished the script's not even finished. It's not Jordan
Well, the
Peele.
script is finished. They're just punching it
Well,
up now.
whatever it is, it's still. But a new director comes in, they're probably gonna want to take a look, and things always happen. New directors, right? They got to start over, whatever. It's a long process. So I don't know, but it's not next year. There's no way. They already got 3 movies anyway. They already said they want to do 2 or 3 max,
Right,
right?
right,
So
right.
at this point, they might as well just push it out 2000. But that being said, it ain't Jordan Peele,
Yeah,
unless it's getting delayed.
yeah.
That's not gonna happen.
Or Jordan Peele's going to do the Midnight Suns, which is the Blade team up
Whatever,
Avengers.
yeah, which is
And
fine. He can do something. He
right,
can do something else. It's just
sure,
not going to be Blade, which
not
sucks.
Blade.
I think
Right,
that's the one
okay.
we wanted to kind of wanted to see, and it's funny
Yeah,
because
it would have been pretty dope.
yeah,
Would have been
even
pretty dope.
Wesley Snipes is coming out talking shit about the Blade.
I
You
saw
saw
that.
that? He's chiming in, and the fool's still looking for the secret sauce, and Daywalkers may look easy. I mean, he just could help himself. I mean,
Some motherfuckers always want to skate uphill.
uphill, but yes, I mean, he mentioned like driving a snowmobile in traffic, something like that. He had
Yeah,
mentioned.
I saw that.
It's
I
a
was like, that's
misquote,
ridiculous. That's crazy.
but I mean, come on, every, dude, he's probably just laughing. He's like, dude, I said, he is Blade as far as I'm concerned.
You know what?
He was great.
Certain people
Part 3
embody a
notwithstanding,
character. Hugh Jackman is Wolverine.
clearly.
Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool. Robert Downey
Jr.,
Jr. Tony Stark.
Sure.
And Wesley Snipes is Blade. It's just,
I mean, come on. Obviously, we can change our minds in the next Blade, and
absolutely.
10 years from now.
Listen, we all thought there was going to be no better Joker than Jack Nicholson,
No,
and then
fair,
we were
no,
proven
of course,
wrong.
we were proven wrong, no doubt. I mean, yeah, Jared Leto was amazing.
Yeah, he really was. With the,
He was great.
gosh, just kiss.
So yeah, so it is what it is. But that's really the only thing that kind of caught my attention. Nothing else just really was worth discussing. But what is worth discussing, let's get into some of these shows before we get to a deep dive in the Acolyte. The Boys came out last week, dropping 3 episodes. I think I had mentioned before that before I saw it, that
We're
people
offended.
seen it, got offended or whatever, then I'm watching it, which boggles the mind because, like I said before, if you're 3 seasons in, I can imagine what at this point
That's
offends
what I'm
you.
saying.
Right? I don't get it. I didn't see anything there. I mean, I if it's about the political thing, it's still silly to be offended by it. It really is.
It really is. I feel it like
I mean,
if that's the line that you, I'm like, then what were you thinking these past 3 seasons?
I don't get. And listen, because it plays it down the line for the most part, and that people get upset if you're on one side of the other, you're gonna get mad at the other side. It's just come on, it's life. This is what we deal with every day, right? It's just
That's what I'm saying.
it's whatever. If that's what it is. Fine. I think it's silly. If it's
By the way, just let you know about The Boys. Me and my son, we play Roblox together, and there's a fighting game, and now they've done their version of the fighting game with the boys, and it's called The Dudes.
that's funny.
But you get to be Homelander, you get to be Soldier Boy, you get to be A-Train, and you get to be Starlight. So it's kind of like, oh, let's go, we get to fight each other.
No,
but that's how prevalent The Boys is.
No, cool. And actually, it's funny because I play Mortal Kombat, and they just released the Homelander character last week, so he's a playable character. So which is, come on, great.
Which, by the way, I wanted to ask you a question. Mm-hmm. I think it's episode 2 or episode 3 when Butcher talks to his son while playing the 7 video game.
Oh yeah.
Do you think when they were doing the Mortal Kombat, they're like, "Well, let's use it, but you gotta do like 6 minutes of animation for us just so you can put it in the series."
That would be kind of cool. It's like my wife like bang. She's like, "No, Homelander, yeah, they put him in the game." She's like, "Oh wait, who else is in there? Is it just him?" Because they'd be cool. You can really have, Black Noir and Soldier Boy. You can have all the characters
Soldier Boy
in
would
a
have been
fighting game. Dope. It would have been great. Starlight was the Nazi chick. I forget her name.
Stormfront.
Yeah, Stormfront. You got a lot of them in there. Maeve, whatever. That'd have been a cool game.
Which, by the way, was real fast. Leave it to the boys to always take a superhero situation. Goes, what's like the most gross, perverted thing we can do with it? And the boys asked the question, like, if you're a nerd, you've heard the question, like, if you had sex with your clone, is that gay or is that like masturbation? They took that question and like, how lonely could you be?
I mean, for anybody who may know this reference, I'm not sure this was a sexual version of the Human Centipede.
It was a one-man show.
Centipede. Yeah, that was interesting. But again, I mean, that we've seen stuff like this. If that, so we get offended by
Yeah,
that. Then if you get offended by it, you're probably not even into season by the season anyway. Let's make it
that's what I'm
clear.
saying.
But
Like Hero Gasm should have like basically
that
like never come back to the
even before
series.
then, whatever Gen V
Oh
before
yeah, even before, yeah,
before we get, but whatever, it is what it is. But all that, listen,
so good,
I'm a big fan of the boys. I love what they do. They're
so
so
good,
unapologetic, right?
so
They do what they
so
want to
good.
do, and it make it works, and I love it. People may like it, fair enough, but yeah, it's great, man. It's really good. I like
The
what they're doing. I mean, I
the only thing that actually caught me off guard and I got a little worried, but I read something where they addressed it is the dude who plays Mother's Milk.
mhm.
He lost a ton of
Oh, I
weight,
know. Yeah, so I'm like, damn, dude, because he was a
and
big guy.
I was scared because I was like, is this another Chadwick Boseman situation?
Oh,
And
gotcha.
and he explained, he's like, no, it's just that my doctors told me that for me being that big, it was actually hurting my body, so I had to drop. And I was like, totally
Yeah, he
understandable.
lost, I don't know,
Be healthy,
30
yeah,
pounds. I mean, it looked
absolutely.
like, yeah, he looked lean, right? I mean,
He
because
looked
he wasn't
lean,
fat
yeah.
before. He was just bulky.
He was
Bulky,
big.
big,
He was
right? Big. So he
like
lost,
a big boy,
so he lost a
yeah.
lot of muscle. I think that's what it was. What it was.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah,
intense size, yeah.
yeah.
But everything else was like, oh, and shot like Kimiko's character in these past 3 episodes is probably one of my favorite characters as in this season so far. She is knocking it out with some of the best situations, best action sequences.
Yeah, she's great.
I'm not going to get into it, but there's a reference, there's a visual reference to baby hands from Deadpool. There's a reference
Yeah,
to
that's right.
how much we care about somebody based on how they look because of what happens to her when she falls out of the building. Like, ah, oh, okay.
I
I
mean,
was like, that's
it's
great,
wild. I love this show. I really do.
so good, so good.
God, what's the one scene? But I think the pink guy was the whole scene was cool.
Will Ferrell
Oh my
out of
God, Will
nowhere showing up as
Ferrell Streep. I'm sorry, yeah. Genius. I mean, it's funny because for a
so
second there,
good.
I know I was like, wait, is this the boys or what am I watching? It was weird. It was a little
Yeah, yeah.
off-putting,
I love when they
but
have
it was great.
regular like celebrities show up. And you're like, what? Oh, right, because in this world they're all okay. Yeah, yeah. And you just go in. Yeah,
Yeah, that was genius as far as I'm concerned. I mean, great
super fun.
cameo. It's just, oh my God, I love it. Everything
Yeah.
works, man. Everything works. I don't know what to say. If you don't like it, I get it. Fair enough. But
You don't like fun. If you don't like
apparently,
this, you like fun.
yeah. I mean, so yeah, I can't wait for the rest of the season, and then they announce obviously a final season 5 next year, or next season's 5 will be the
Right.
final season.
And I heard there's going to be a season 2 of Generation V, right?
Yes. I think they have to
Which is
replace somebody, obviously, because
yeah,
his name
because
passed
that
away. Yeah, tragically, that young guy. Yeah,
tragically,
yeah.
and I actually I got introduced to that actor watching the gruesome stories of Sabrina the Teenage Witch, which is a series on Netflix that is way creepier and darker than you expected it to be. That's what caught me. I was like, whoa, this is an Archie comic, but it's really, but he's great in that. And he was great in season 1, but unfortunately he passed
He
away.
was 20
So
something. Yeah, 40, yeah,
yeah, man, real
sucks. Yeah,
tragic.
it sucks. I mean, they'll make adjustment, I'm sure, and what it is, and
Yeah,
what can you do? I mean, whatever. But yeah, so far knocking out of the park. Absolutely, I love this show. I really do. The deep, come on,
oh my God, the deep,
Jesus.
and the new Black Noir,
That
that crappy buddy system that they got
was
is so good.
great, and Sage I like, and I just love, it's just so.
Oh, Sister
Sister
Sage
Sage is great.
is like
What a great character.
that combination of smart with stupid. Like I was like, what am I watching?
Oh
But
my
I
God, and
totally makes sense.
just the beauty of this writing is that he can turn on, but the blooming onion or whatever. It's just, come on, it's hilarious. I mean, come on,
It's great. It,
come on.
I mean, listen, opposites attract, and sometimes if you're so smart, you've made peace of the fact of like, listen, as long as you're beautiful, I'm okay if you're stupid,
Right.
and
Yeah.
you're okay with that.
You have to trade down. This is how it works,
Yeah,
right? It is what it
that's
is,
it.
right? You can't go anywhere. So yeah,
So
fantastic
good.
start. Yeah, really good, and I can't wait for Friday or Thursday night actually. The next one week I've been excited about, House of the Dragon, of course, season 2, bringing its Sunday debut.
What a debut!
Great
What a debut!
episode. I mean, it's just I like it picking off really much. I guess pretty much right after the events for the most part of the ending where the son dies, whatever, the dragon eats him. Yeah, I mean, and what a good episode. I mean, I love the beginning, setting everything. It was not a very exciting episode, but Game of Thrones is
well,
Game
the
of Thrones is
last
not known
2
for that.
minutes
The last 2 minutes were great,
exciting.
right? Setting that up, I was like,
Yeah.
oh damn, they went there. It's Game of Thrones,
And,
of
well,
course
that's
they
the thing
went there.
all the people who read the books, and I did not read these books,
yeah, I'm not
but all the
familiar.
people who read the books were like, dude, there's these two characters called Blood and Cheese, and when you see what they're gonna do, it's gonna. And I will say, this episode with the ending that they gave, and can we do spoiler alerts on this situation or
Spoiler up.
spoilers?
Spoiler.
Okay, so in the comics, Blood and Cheese is the castle's rat catcher, and Blood was part of the Golden Guard, but he viciously attacked and murdered a hooker or an escort, or whatever they had, and so they called him Blood because of how, and he got kicked off, and so Damon hires both of them to kill one of the princesses or the queen's other kids as vengeance for the kid that died at the end of season 1. And they make the mom choose which kid, and then they murder him in front of her. And what's really messed up is, like, in the books, it's of course way more vicious. I think the way they handled it in this episode was actually the classiest version of they could have done.
Yeah, because killing kids, you will get sensitive, and I get it. I understand it. You can't. There's only so much you can do. It's very suggestive.
But just they not only did that, but when they twisted a nail or the knife by making the queen then run to the mom's room, catches her having an affair, she drops her knees, she's like, they killed him. They killed the boy. And you're like, oh my God. And here's the part that just makes me, like, I haven't felt that excited about the end of a season of the first episode of a season than the first episode of season 1 of Game of Thrones, when they pushed Bronn off the like the that was the kind of, you're just like, whoa, like, you are literally like, even if you didn't know anything about season 1, you just watched that one episode, you understood the stakes of what just happened, and your mind just goes crazy at all the options, especially if you don't know what's gonna happen in the books. You literally like, whoa, and you take it like, it's such a good episode 1 for a new season.
And that obviously that's gonna, the catalyst of, I'm sure, chaos.
So much.
It's forthcoming. Much. We know it, and they promise big battles and dragons, which I'm all for.
Yeah,
and it's a great start. It really was a good start. I can't wait to this continues, and hopefully they don't debut off on Weiss's in the end. They already green. I think they're doing season 3, right?
Yeah,
I thought I read
so.
that. Okay,
I think
they
so.
did. I thought I read that. Might be wrong, but
if they didn't, they'll probably announce it like halfway through this season.
This is the marquee show. Yeah, this is the biggest show that the ratings wise they had this year already. Not a big surprise. A little dip from last year though, like 20% dip from last season.
Wow,
it's surprising, to be honest with you, but they were saying because of the Father's Day weekend. I don't know if that's really had nothing to do with it, but whatever. I don't know. We'll see how it may increase as it goes along.
Right, so, especially word of mouth.
Right, exactly.
Like, oh, dude, because it's been 2 years,
and that's the other thing they were saying. It's been a long time, and you
gotta let the word of mouth build, and I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of backwards viewing once they get into, like, it's out. Oh, I didn't know.
But even as a drop, it's still the biggest show they had this year.
Absolutely,
This is the marquee show. Of course they can do, and they're doing a prequel already being filmed. So of course we're gonna get more Game of Thrones until people get tired of it. It's just that's what it boils down to.
Series like that, it's the reason why people end up subscribing to that streaming service to get those kind of shows.
Completely agree, and it's unfortunately series like this to make other series a glaring, drop in quality, right? When you see something like this and what you can accomplish with lesser money, right?
Right.
This is about 10 minute episode, more or less. So maybe about 100 million for the season, 10 episodes, give or take. Substantially less than something like the Acolyte, we'll talk about in a minute, which is $180 million. But you look at them, Game of Thrones just feels vast, big. It looks real, like you're there. It does. And something like Star Wars, a lot of the shows they don't have that live-in world, and you don't get that sense like you're watching a video game almost at times. You don't get that sense of scope in some of these shows. Endor was an exception because that was relocations, and there you go, right? No CGI, and that makes a big difference. But no, it's great, no doubt. I can't wait for the rest of the show. It's top notch as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
But let's get to it, man. Let's get to the main course of what we've all been waiting for. Is the Acolyte, episode 4, which I think you and I were in the camp of, it's not the worst thing ever. It's not good.
Good, but not great.
It's not good. I'm gonna admit it's not good. It's not. I was still indifferent. Some things that I liked, some things that I thought I hated. Some of the writing was just not good on the show. Questionable things. Okay. But we figure season episode 4, maybe things start picking up because it has to. This is
Sure.
episode 4 where it's only 8.
Yeah.
And
Now, wait, before we move any further, I want you to think about what you think I thought about the show, because I know sometimes we're very much on par, and there's sometimes
well,
we have some
I think we
hard
differ
divides.
more, but when it comes to the show, I think we've been more on par. I think with this show.
Yes, right.
Um, if I had to guess, I'm gonna say probably the same reaction as the other episodes. No more, no less. That's what I'm guessing. I might be wrong.
Okay, I'm gonna
I could be
guess
totally off.
you. I'm gonna guess that you probably did not like this episode at all. It probably fell very hard for you.
Yes, this was by far the worst episode of the season, and now has made this show a bad show. And now I can say it's a bad show. Well, I was in the middle. I was given a chance. I was being fair as I could, being patient. Let's see. And then this episode for me was a disaster. It really was. And we start with what's good. Okay, now we start with what's bad.
Oh,
Um,
all right. So
no, there's a couple of good things. I mean, Soul is in it, so he's still
so
good.
yeah,
He's still the best part, most consistent
right.
part about the show.
He really is.
But dude, I don't know where to begin. First of all, let's get it obvious out the way. 27 minutes tops. It's too short. It's too short, and things are not getting fleshed out like they should, right?
Yeah.
And it's so truncated, and like the cliffhanger, I could take it or leave it. Cliffhanger, if for an action scene is not exactly a cliffhanger, I will favor, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like it went so fast, and not in a good way. I don't know what the hell's going. I really don't know what to do with the show. First of all, the Wookiee, another bait and switch. They Trinity him, right? We got nothing.
They fridged them.
Yeah,
They fridged
off
them. Yeah.
screen. I mean, really. I mean,
Okay, so
it doesn't
I
make the
have
show
to
bad,
say,
but I'm saying it's just all these things that keep adding up, right?
I have to say, I actually was feeling the way you were feeling until the last 5 minutes of the episode, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool." I actually like finding the dead body, and then the Jedi show up, and then the Sith shows up, and I was like, "This is what I wanted the series to be. I wanted it to be like a murder mystery. I wanted them to be completely outclassed. I wanted the villain to be creepy. I got it, but in 5 minutes."
But let's assume that I would have been cool the murder mystery. Who killed? I'll say the fake Chewie. What if I get his name? What I know is whatever. He's a Wookiee.
Jedi Chewie.
Yeah,
Jedi
and
Chewie.
kept that mystery longer because
Sure.
now for the audience, it's not May. Is it May the bad one?
Right. Yeah. May. Right. Because May converts. She's like, "Oh man, I'm
right."
wrong
And
this
she
whole
walks
time."
in, and obviously she didn't kill him. So we're like, "Oh, what the hell is going on?" Is it? That would have been kind of, but just okay. There he is. Like you spoiled it. You blew your load way too quick, right? Like, it's like the first episode where there's a mystery. Oh, it's not a mystery. Whatever. The whole, and you mentioned me. I thought that character arc was a disaster.
It felt very like 180 for no reason. You're
reason.
like, whoa!
Like,
and you're like that, right?
Because forget episode 3, because episode 3 is a flashback, right?
Right.
When we left episode 2, she's gung ho, we're gonna kill some jet. She's all over, and all of a sudden, I'm good. I'm gonna turn. I'm like, wait, what happened here? That she changed. There was no setup, nothing
Like
to build to that
if
moment.
that would have happened at the end of episode 2, you would have had it would have made sense,
or something that triggered that. We got nothing, right? Because when we left,
right.
when we saw her, she left, escaped, right? And then
she was just talking about like what she needed to do, and then and I was like, but you knew this already. All this was known on the way to the planet.
Yeah, and she wasn't complaining. I think all of a sudden, like, she had a conversation with that guy who may be the Sith. We'll get into that in a second. But okay, wait, what happened? Like, I don't understand. Like, that decision is just so off, and it's just such bad writing. It's like, I don't get that. And even her sister, she finds out sister's alive, right? Last episode of the timeline, and now she's like, okay, I'm out. You guys go take care of it. What? His family? Yeah, 16 years, and you're out.
Let me just state this. The whole conceit of this premise is that this is the Jedi's before they even became got their heads up their asses. Essentially, this is them like at their most pure, at their peak.
Right.
Right. That
Sure.
was the whole conceit of this
Fair enough.
project. I would be, and this is like there is no even like hard rules of like everyone's got to fight. There's like Jedi's called wayfinders. They just follow the Force. They're like they don't have to be part of the order. They're not part of the council. They just do their own Force thing. You have every version of the Jedi there available. That there's that scene where they're walking through the forest and those giant bugs are wrapped around the trees in the cocoons. Nobody except Ahsoka or whatever her name is.
Whatever her name, right?
Right.
May
She
sister.
senses it, but no one else does. And I'm like, how prideful do you have to be to not pick up these giant bug entities? And then the bug comes out and rushes them, and Soul immediately takes out his lightsaber and kills it.
And that was it.
If you guys were like at the height of like we are so in tune with the Force that we're knocking it out of the park, would it have been better if he did sort of like that thing that they introduced in the prequel trilogy that Rey can do, where he just kind of puts his hand down and makes the bug go to sleep, or something? Because it's all life. So why would you not
that's a fair point.
do stuff like that? Like that's what I want. Like those last 5 minutes, I got everything I wanted from the Sith, but I have yet to see Jedi's genuinely be
Jedi.
these like at peace monks.
That's because that's essentially what they are, right? For that time
they
frame.
Should be,
and,
right.
And particularly at that time, because it's peace and whatever. And it was a weird scene because, okay, maybe the other things wake up and they have a big fight, but just one died. All right, let's go. It's like, dude, what was the point of that scene?
Right.
A quick little interlude to kill a bug and let's move on. There's no danger, no stakes. It's weird. It's a weird scene.
Here's what they should have done. One of the younger guys, like that young Jedi with the dreadlocks, that black dude, if he would have killed the bug and then all the bugs would have turned like alive, and then Soul would have calmed them down, that also would have been awesome. Like, you are still too rash to
right. It's
like,
it's a lesson learned, right? Of course,
right. And it would have been
agreed
dope to see that. And
something
it's fast tracked to the point that you're overlooking all the fun, not like whoopee fun, but like those dope moments of like what a truly at peace Jedi could do. And I don't know why you're not leaning into those moments, because you want to show how dark the Sith are.
It's a juxtaposition between what the Sith and the Jedi are, right? It always has been. It's very it's fascinating, but it's not being explored on the show. We thought maybe we said last week was going to be told from the point of view of the Sith, which is not thus far. And it's too late now, I think, personally. I just don't know something. I don't know what they're going, what they're doing with the show. And even like, and I someone brought this up that some guy sent me a video to check this out. So I saw it. I'm not so deep into the lore. I'm not, but they had the beginning where they're talking the Jedi, whatever, not in the High Council. The guy with I forgot his name, who was in
Kiari-Mundi.
That guy, right? Who's been confirmed it's him, and the credits is him, right? And I heard he wasn't even alive during that time, right? So that's weird.
He was.
No. He said that I saw a couple of videos on it to confirm. It's like according to the lore and the books, he's not supposed to exist during that time. Yet he's there. So people like nerds knew. It's like I just saw it, whatever. So I'm like, that's weird. And then the show is seen where in Phantom Menace where he turns to Yoda and says, "Oh, the Sith have been gone for a millennia."
Right.
Okay. Well, if this is the Sith, then that has not been gone for the millennia. And what does no one know about it? And he does, and he doesn't say anything. It's weird. It's just that inconsistency in the story. It's like
you are right about that.
It's odd, right?
I took it of like, you know how like that one Jedi chick who's bald and green, and she's like, I don't want the council to know about this. I thought that in that moment, he's like, oh, this dude's supporting a lie that he's been helping cover up since then.
Yes, but what would they do? That's not what they. I don't know. It's weird. It's just the Jedi. It's inconsistent as far as who they are, what they do. It's odd, and there's no continuity. In the time, like you said, they were supposed to be at peace, and they were the Zen, right? It's odd, right? And Yoda's around there. We mentioned. I was like, he doesn't sense anything. The Jedi's being killed, and no one's involved. Really? It's weird. And I know they can't put him in the show, but even just mention it. Right, you don't have to show Yoda. You're not gonna get Mace Windu because you got to pay Samuel Jackson. I get it.
Yes,
but you could say, "Hey, we spoke to mate." anything to just allude to the fact that they're there. Don't high council saying the people we can speak of. You can mention
Like
names. It's okay to
sometimes they
mention names.
mention names, and we're like, okay, there's a name drop, but that name doesn't mean anything. It would have been cool if like we have to resolve this fast. Jedi Master Yoda has been asking
That's what I'm
questions.
saying.
Like that would have been kind of a
Right. There's
fun, like
something there to acknowledge that we know, because we know he's there. Obviously,
yeah,
he's part of that account. It's weird. It's odd. They're trying to avoid it. The writing's just all over the place. And I'll say this before we get to the Sith thing. And you know, a lot of people complain ridiculously about the whole woke thing and all, and I get it, right? I can understand where they're coming from.
sure.
There is an agenda, but for the first time, I can say, wow, ridiculous when the silly little creature and whatever May sisters, like who is he or they? Why the fuck are we playing the pronoun fucking game in the galaxy far, far fucking away where they don't deal with this nonsense? Why is this part of Star Wars? And that's finally I see it now, and now it's inarguable. This thing that they're trying to push, and people get upset about that. I don't agree with it, but I don't want to get pushed either. I don't want to see that. It doesn't belong in this world. It doesn't. You can call so he, but the little monster now is they, and what the fuck is going
Actually,
on? It's nonsense, and it's upsetting because now all you're doing is feeding the beast of those who've been complaining before unjustifiably. Now it's like, okay, my hands in the air. You guys are all right. What am I gonna do? You can't do that on a show
I,
like this. I'm
I,
sorry. It's not. It's frustrating as hell. It's
I,
terrible writing.
like honestly, that part went over my head. I didn't even notice it. I was like, whatever. But now that you're bringing it up, I think it would have been better if they would have called it an it,
Call
and
it
it would
it.
have, and then they would have corrected itself. It goes they, you, whatever. Like they could have a fun joke
It's
about
something,
it.
but it's
Because here's the thing:
it's frustrating.
if you're gonna introduce vernacular that is some people find or problematic or controversial or woke or whatever the case is, you don't just say it and go, that's it now. Like, make fun of the fact that different cultures and different species don't understand each other, make it a
And
joke,
that's fair
and
because
then you move forward. It's
right,
like then
it
you
would have made
establish
sense because
without making it like, you see what we did?
right,
Like,
and
that's
that's what I'm saying. Right? It's like there's a huge wink to those who and it doesn't belong in Star Wars, not in that fashion. You're right.
right.
As a creature, a space creature, hey, I'm not it. I'm a person. Fair, that great, right?
That would
That
have
would have
been,
made sense, and that would have been totally
but
okay with
see,
that.
if you do that, no one's, you're like, oh, cool, I see what you did there. Instead
Exactly,
of going, really?
exactly. That's yeah.
And,
You roll your
but like I said,
eyes.
to be fair,
Yeah.
I watched that whole episode. That didn't even register. It went right over my
Oh, I
head. I didn't
caught that
pick that
because
up at all.
yeah, because
Which
kind of
I
a
don't know if that is me just being glazed over. Like,
maybe
or
or
what.
it could very well be, but that's the kind of thing is like the show has like it's just and it all goes on to the writing, right? At the end
Right.
of the day, it's just really bad writing. I don't know what the hell they're doing, and the whole main thing, just the main thing is really bad. I mean, it's so bad. Well,
There was no like I said, the problem with the main thing is that I don't have a problem with her
she
turning.
can
I have
turn,
a
just
problem with
not
the
now.
how she
Right?
turned
It's the
and
execution
how
of it.
fast she turned,
Right?
and there was no turmoil to make her turn. Like at
It's
least
instant.
Vader had to see Luke dying to go, "Oh man, this is
Right,
wrong."
exactly.
Like
Or
there's got to
Vader.
be
It took
something,
Vader three
man.
films, and his son dying, and Father, please,
Yeah,
and oh, I get it,
yeah.
right?
He's begging Dad, please. Like it was
Yeah,
you. There was a reason for him to
that's what
go
I'm saying.
against.
That's his
But
son, and at the end
there
of the
was no
day,
reason for the
that's
turn.
what I'm saying. It's bizarre, and it's just awkward because he's been built up as this vengeful, individual, which is going after this Jedi for personal reasons, which maybe that's not the case because she was told to do. It's weird. It's just odd. I don't know. I don't get it. I respect her. I said it. She's gonna get redeemed, and I figured she would, and I'm okay with that. I totally am. In episode six,
How
seven,
how how? It was only
eight.
6 episodes I heard.
No,
It's not
eight.
even
It's
eight.
eight. No,
Six.
it's eight.
It's eight.
It's eight. Yeah.
I thought it was six.
If it's six, it shows in the dumps tearing out.
I think
But
you might be right.
but I'm pretty sure
Look,
it's eight. I think.
let me ask you a
Yeah.
question. How much cooler would it have been? How much cooler would it have been if May found the Wookiee Jedi and she was getting ready to kill, and he basically gave her sad puppy dog eyes, and just
Puss in Boots.
gave himself to like, I'm sorry, and that moment she remembers like her sister and like, oh man, this guy is not malicious. There was it like
Anything.
maybe I'm wrong.
Anything.
Wait.
And
And
then
at that moment of sadness
boom.
where she's like, oh my God, that's when he gets killed by the Sith Lord.
Correct. Yes.
And then
And she's
she,
like, what the fuck? And that
She was, what the
that would
fuck?
trigger something. It's like, wait, what's going on here? Agreed,
And
100%,
then
hundred
here's the
percent.
thing. You know how like the Sith Lord like threw her away so he could fight the Jedi's?
Mm-hmm.
The Sith Lord looks up, like past her, pushes her through the door. She tumbles out. They look inside. You don't see the Sith Lord there. See the body of the dead Jedi. Think she killed them, and she's trying to say I'm sorry. And that's when the Sith shows up behind her, and now you have this dramatic tension. We're like, look behind you. When they turn around, she does a full blast. Everyone gets knocked. Like it's still the same thing,
It's the
but
same
you
thing.
change these little moments, and now you're having this
It's
compelling.
execute exactly. It's interesting. There's stakes now. It's like, I don't know. I don't know. And I heard someone told me like, oh, what if she is a part of a plan? Because she's supposed to kill a Jedi without using her power or using a weapon. I don't want to hear that. That's not what happened here. If that happens,
No,
it's ridiculous.
and by
It
the way,
really is.
that idea of like a Sith Lord killing a Jedi to prove they've embraced the Sith, that's established canon in the
Yes.
Darth Vader
Yeah.
comic books.
Agreed. Yeah.
Darth Vader goes his first mission after becoming Darth Vader at the end of Revenge of the Sith. He has to kill this like exiled Jedi, and he does it without using a lightsaber. He takes his lightsaber, the Jedi's lightsaber, uses it to kill him, and then breaks it, makes it bleed, and that becomes Darth Vader's lightsaber, which is a dope story. That's not what we got here.
No.
That's not what we got
No.
here at
It
all.
was being set up like that.
It
Well,
was
we thought. I mean, maybe.
right.
I mean, maybe they're not safe. Who knows? But yeah, it's just like I said. It's such bad writing, and it's a shame, right? It really is, because you know it's a good show in here somewhere. I know there is.
You know what it feels like. It feels like you told somebody to make a sandwich, but they don't know what a sandwich is. All the ingredients are there, but they putting the ham on the outside,
That's
the
what I'm
bread on the
saying.
inside, the
Mayonnaise on
mustard.
top of the bread. Your hands get all
Yeah,
nasty. And
you're just slopping
it's
out.
just
Like it's this whole you're just like
that's what I'm
it,
saying.
like if all the sandwich stuff is there, but it's all
It's all
convoluted.
convoluted, and this is the lowest point for me as far as this season, for by far. Because there's been shit writing before, but there was some good stuff here.
Yeah, but I gotta say, the last 5 minutes
I mean, it was
gave me a little
cool,
bit of hope.
but I wish they
Gave me a
would have
little bit of
finished the
hope.
scene, or he would have escaped or something, and then fine or whatever. To end it like that's weird, because I don't want the start next season to start, that next episode to start, and he's gone or she's gone. Could be a she.
Well, here and once again, how much cooler would it have been? And when the Sith Lord does that big push, everyone gets knocked down, and in the smoke, Saul is trying to get up. The red lightsaber lights up with the smoke, lifts up, and you're thinking, "Oh my God, he's gonna kill Saul," and that's when it stops. You have like, "Oh
Yeah,
no!"
yeah,
It's like
maybe a bigger moment. I still would have been high, but it would have been better.
it would have been better.
We know
But
they're
I'm
gonna
saying,
fight. I
like,
think the trailer revealed the fight. We're gonna see
yeah, of course
something,
they're
and
gonna
that's
fight.
fine, right?
But that's what I'm saying.
Right.
Like, there's so much,
But
and it's not big changes. It's just
small
the
things,
order of
and it's
things.
frustrating because I have no faith in the rest of the show. I think we're gonna get a cool action scene. That's great, but it
Yeah,
hasn't been built.
but
But it's not built up right at this point. Not yet. May
I'll say this, and I always give credit's due. The guys from Red Letter Media, Mr. Plinkett, all that, uh, 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 they said one time, and it's always kind of stuck in my head, is like, yeah, the visuals are cool, but we're beyond the point of, did you see how cool those visuals are?
yeah. Oh, we're way past
Like,
that.
yeah, now that it's standard practice for it to look cool, it's if you don't have good visuals, that's a disappointment, because that should be the minimum, is good visuals. So you can't say, oh, the story was bad, but check out these visuals or check out this fight scene. That's already the minimum, is cool visuals and fight
You
scene.
need something behind it. We go back to Game of Thrones. They do this so well, right? The character development, taking their time. It's okay to have a talky episode for an hour. It's okay because it's building towards something, right? And you know you're gonna get a payoff.
Yeah,
And it's usually just
I
a
mean,
great payoff. We don't.
not for nothing, but what is it about Star Wars that we live in a world of Game of Thrones, of The Last of Us, the Umbrella Academy,
Yeah,
and
agreed.
they're like, oh no one's gonna watch a talkie episode. The reason those series are so great is because there's a talkie episode.
That's where you develop the characters. That's where you develop the story. And when you get, like, if May would have had a great scene, a talkie scene about what's going on in her head, the conflict perhaps, and then she finally made this decision, you know what, I'm done with this. Forget. Fine. But this,
I mean,
you can't just make a turn and one and in a conversation, not even a conversation, halfway through, I'm done.
let's be honest. Some of the best Marvel stuff on Disney Plus have been talkie episodes. Episode 5 of Moon Knight, that's a talkie episode.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
all of season 2 of Loki, they're essentially talkie
Of
episodes, and you're
course.
like, this is great. Like it is. Like I don't understand how you can even be part of a network where you've seen talkie execute well and people revere that episode
Get it,
and
man.
still be like, yeah, but not for Star Wars. Like I get it. Like if people will say you want talkie, you go to Star Trek. If you want action, you go Star Wars.
It's
I
both. The
get it.
first Star Wars, very first one, right? It's not a fast-paced film.
It really
You have
isn't.
maybe two action scenes at best, right? In the compact, in the whole scene in the Death Star,
Yeah.
and at the end, the rest is talking development, talking about the Force, talking about the character. That's what draws in, right?
I
That's what it is.
I'll say this. I
Empire, same
forgot.
way.
I forgot where I watched this from. I think maybe the Real Rejects. I apologize not being able to source this quote, but once again, a great quote is when you watch the behind the scenes of the first Star Wars film, all the actors joke around that the way George Lucas would give direction is faster, more intense,
Right.
and it feels bad where at this stage of Star Wars, that's the one lesson they haven't learned is faster and more
Yeah.
intense. It's very story's too fast. No
That's what
intensity
I'm
in
saying.
the
There's no state.
conversation.
That's what happens when you have a 27. You can have a 27-minute episode. This should have been an hour, right? And it could have been a great episode, and it still ended the same way, and still end the
Yeah,
exact same way. Just fill in with good story beats in the middle of the episode. We got nothing, and it's weird. Like it's like almost they designed it specifically to end it there.
yeah,
Like they could have given us 30, 20 more minutes. Like no, we gotta end it right here. We need a cliffhanger, right? And that's just bad television. That's bad writing.
it really
I
is.
really and that coincidentally has to be falls in line with the last episode the critics were shown to get them hooked,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
That's piss poor writing, developing a show. It screws over the rest of us who want to see some. And I for the world of me, I don't understand. It's 85% Rotten Tomatoes. I really don't. I really do not. I
I,
get that on the
I
show.
honestly think that the people who are very upset about it, like us, are people who know more than the average bear about Star Wars. But the casual fan is like, oh, cool, yeah, Star Wars,
I don't
whatever
know
this
because
is.
good writing is good writing. People like it. I think we underestimate the casual fan, right? Then they like
Yes,
all the cool shit, but they want good stories too. They all do, right? 'Cause I
sure.
mean, obviously, look, the box office don't lie. We've seen this on the diminishing returns on Star Wars. I think the last trilogy it went down, right? Started high and
Hmm.
then kept doing every single way went down because people just weren't liking it. People
Yeah,
notice that stuff. They do, and the shows have been doing great. People notice after a while they check out and see DC,
yeah.
right? That was a clear example. We talked about that. I just don't know what they're doing here. I really don't. And maybe they can salvage the show. I just don't have faith now because they're gonna rush through this, right? I don't know. We got nothing to Sith, and I'll ask you this Sith, right, whoever it is, or maybe she. I keep saying he could be a she. To be fair, because you have mentioned the mom, right? A
Right.
clear candidate of being that. Maybe she was one of the Avengers. I guess
Sure.
you have to really explain that one, but I get it, right? I keep hearing that guy is such a red herring that it could and couldn't be him. That whatever the potion guy.
Right. The guy who was on the Good Place. I
Yeah,
forgot his
yeah,
name,
like
but yeah.
he's stumbling around. Oh, he's a clutch. He can't be a Jedi. A Sith. Can
Right.
he? And he's left alone. And also,
Listen, Palpatine faked being an old man senator
right,
for all this time.
exactly. I
So
mean, I'm not happy with either one of us two being, to be honest with
I,
you.
I mean, I would prefer more the mom
I
than
will prefer
him,
the
but
mom. I'll give you that. But even with that,
right.
but if it's him, like
But
really,
if it's him, what's going to upset me is once again, these Jedi should be at the peak of their
of
game, and they
course.
met him. So if it's him, they should be able to be like, "Yo, dark side." Like it's not that I know what the dark side feels like. I just know that this isn't the light side of the
Right.
force.
And if it is
And
him, that they made it so obvious, right? Like they're trying to, you know, throw a curveball. It can't be him. He's bumming around. He doesn't know.
right,
It just makes it more obvious, right? It's like you try in poker, you play poker, you try to talk to someone, and the more you talk, it's probably the shitter your hand is, right?
right,
Um, you're not fooling anybody with that. And if it's him, that's just poor writing. It's better if you're really surprised, right?
yeah.
If you don't fumble around, he's just a guy, and not because now everyone's thinking it. We're all thinking it, right? Don't give us that ought to think about it. Just let it come out of nowhere. Oh, that guy? I never would have guessed. Now you're like, if it's him, all right, we knew it.
Right.
It's bad writing. It goes back to it's just the shitty writing. What a shame, dude. It really is. Maybe listen, this next episode could be the
Like,
greatest thing you've ever
and,
seen.
and
To be
once
fair,
again,
right?
here's a way. I hope it's not him. I hope it's the mom.
If
The
I had a
Zebra
choice, I agree
mom.
with you. That if it's between those two only, give me the
Right.
mom. Fine.
But I will say, how much cooler would have been if they played him and he was a competent guy who she was always like putting in his place because she didn't think that he meant anything, and he was always getting frustrated, and it looked like she was resenting her and all this kind of stuff. And then the big twist is, I'm your master this whole time. I've been letting you treat me this way to see, like,
Course.
that would have been a real. It would have been a very Kaiser Sose moment.
That's
You know,
what
when you're
I'm
like,
saying, and that's
oh,
exactly what I'm saying. It doesn't work. If that's him, I'm very disappointed. I really would be.
yeah,
Right? I'm like, oh,
yeah,
really? Even if the mom, but again, they'll explain it. But again, we're still there's a big chunk missing. What happened that night with the fire and all that stuff? We know that they're gonna
right.
revisit that at some point, or
Well, I think the next episode is going to be the revisit episode.
I think in 6. I think the next one is the battle here, and then kind of the aftermath and
Okay.
whatever, and then they kind of circle back, right? Because something's up. Something's that guy committed suicide for a reason.
Well, like I told you, I heard episode 5 is the big. Everyone's going to talk about it
It's probably
episode.
because of the action scenes and all that, and
All right.
I'm sure I'm expecting the exciting episode, but that's just the sleight of hand. Hey, we're here, and we'll show you this cool shit, and everyone's gonna love it, right? Because it's cool, and maybe someone
Sure.
died,
But once again, being cool, looking cool
It's not
is
enough.
the given at this point.
Right.
It's either you got to be amazing or it's got to be in conjunction with a good story.
That's what I'm saying. And we're missing the story, right? Even
Yeah.
something as simple as John Wick, right? That's an action film. You want the good action, but the action doesn't
Yeah.
work if they don't set that up in the beginning properly with it.
If we don't care about the fact that he lost his girlfriend, his wife,
And then
the dog,
it doesn't work. You get cool
Doesn't work.
action. Oh, it's cool. It's just noise. Yeah,
Sure.
it's cool. But it's not. It doesn't become John Wick. It doesn't get 3
Right.
other sequels. I can tell you right now. We all know that. You have to set this up, and that's the issue. We're gonna have a cool fight scene next week, not set up right. And somebody mentioned, I thought this was hilarious. What they call him, Smiley Ren.
yeah. Well, I kind of like because it looks like one of those old.
It's
Japanese
weird.
masks
I know that.
spot,
I
right?
didn't know what to think of him. I didn't hate it or dislike it. It's weird. Whatever. It did give me a Kylo vibe. Whatever. That's
Yeah,
weird.
I thought so too.
Right.
Especially with the red crack lines
Yeah.
that it had on it.
It was a little.
Yeah, I was like, it's kind of Kylo-ish. I
very-
kind of like that.
Whatever. It's
And once again, I
Whatever.
feel like people who are complaining about like, oh, the virgin birth and this and that, and it takes away from Anakin. I'm like,
whatever.
guys, they're literally showing you that history is repeating itself every 100 years or so.
Yeah.
That's all this is. It's not
Like, that for me
taking
was
away.
not- yeah.
It's showing you there's a pattern in their history.
Yeah.
So why get upset? They're almost revalidating why they made those choices. It's not taking away.
Yeah, that
it's
stuff
layering.
doesn't bother me. That's whatever. Just for me, it's been a writing from the beginning, right? I've liked some stuff.
I to a large degree, I do agree with you, but I do appreciate the moments where they're getting it right. But like I said, I just feels like you're making you ask someone who has no idea what a sandwich is, how to make a sandwich, and it's all over the place.
I don't know what the hell's going on. Like, I don't know. They got the wrong person to write it. Apparently, I don't know, because it's just not.
You know what? Honestly, to me, it feels like a lot of studio
Maybe
notes.
it's
I feel like there's a
possible.
lot of studio notes.
Kathleen Kennedy, that doesn't surprise me in the least. We know the history, right? We're not going to repeat it. It's a vicious cycle with her, and it's just an example of like a show. Like, man, and this could really head down Boba Fett territory really fast. I'm not saying it will.
It could, and that's a scary.
That's what I'm saying.
How
The potential is there.
It could spiral out of control so
really
easily.
bad. Like, Kenobi wasn't great. I wasn't a big fan of the show, but it was never going to head towards that direction.
No,
Right.
no. They had guardrails, and they scraped those guardrails.
The bumpers on
real
the
hard.
bowling for little kids. That's what it had, right?
Yeah. Oh my God.
But this one, man, there's no
Three
safety
guys
net
in a
here.
trench coat walking out of the.
This one, we could see the Vespa motorcycles come out in episode 6 for all we know. This has the potential, which is a sad statement, to be Boba Fett. I don't think it is, but it has the potential, and that's really worrisome, right?
Yeah.
And listen, 5, we could come back next week. 5, great episode. I'm still not gonna be. That's one episode, right? It could tank again, episode 6 and 7 and 8, and it could end terribly, which a lot of these shows.
Much like a relationship, it's all about consistency.
Right, consistency. So one episode won't sway me. You give me 5, 6, 7, okay. But
Then you're like, okay,
but you gotta stick the landing, which we know that's a
very
tricky
much
thing,
so,
right?
yeah.
The career and all that. I don't even want to see that, because honestly, if they don't stick the landing and then they build that hope, it was like Titan season 3, whatever it was, the first.
Yeah, season 3, the
right?
first
Oh
episode.
Man,
like, oh my God, they fixed it.
This is the best show, man.
It was a fluke.
It's a fluke, and that just tore your heart. I was like, they just ripped it out,
It
man. They
really did,
teased you.
dude.
You know what I'm saying?
If you guys don't know what we're talking about, go back to when we were reviewing season 3 of the Titans and watch the joy get drained
God.
from me and Jose's faces because for a second, we thought, oh, we were wrong, and I've never been happy about being
that
wrong
was
for it. It turns
Santa
out
Claus
we
doesn't
weren't. We were
exist. That
right.
was a Santa
Hey,
Claus doesn't exist moment. That's what that was as a kid.
that really was. It was so
and
upsetting.
that's why I'd
Wow.
rather not even see the show take an uptick because I just have a feeling it's gonna end terribly, and we're all gonna get duped at the end of
Don't
the
lie
day.
to me.
And I'm gonna come back here saying they Boba Fett this thing. I don't know. Just say
Oh,
because right now for
man.
me that's where we're headed, and I hope it changes. Listen, I can only judge the first 4 episodes. I'm not gonna
That's
speculate saying, oh, it could be. Maybe it's
I
great.
agree.
Maybe it
I
sucks.
agree.
Right now, it's not a good show.
Right.
Can it change? Of anything can. Anything's possible. I just don't know. What I seen that's gonna happen. Not with this writing. Not with
Yeah.
this writing. And they've already
Yeah.
ruined Mayor as it is. She's
Yeah.
ruined. It's just,
She started off cool,
yeah.
and then they, like I
It's
said,
ruined.
they made her character. They did the worst thing you could do to a villain. You made the villain's motivations inconsistent.
Right, and it's just bad to see. It's just, it's a shame because now what we do with her next 4 episodes?
That's what I'm saying.
She's just okay. I help you guys out, or I don't. She still killed 2 Jedi.
Look,
Well,
yeah,
technically,
she
she
did.
killed one. The other guy killed himself.
Yeah, yeah.
If you want to get technical, but
She
whatever.
only killed one, and it really that Jedi killed himself, but she was there. She was
Right.
sweet, and it was very. She enabled the situation
He
to
was in the
occur.
ledge, and
But yeah, so I will say this. I will say
whatever.
this. If they were ballsy, courageous, daring, how great would it be after this episode? The entire POV of the series does switch to the Sith. That would be dope. I would like to see it. Like if they did that, I'd be like, oh
They will
man,
have to do
I'm
it.
back in.
The next 4 episodes will have to be from
They're
the
not,
point of
but
view.
I would love to
No,
see
I would love to
that.
see it, but I think we know that's not going to happen. And I wish they
Right.
would have explored that Sith. I don't think we're going to get all that. It just could be some guy in a sword. Maybe he's a Sith. Maybe he's. I don't know. I just until they reveal the mom. There's Scooby Doo and the kids. Would have got away with it. What's this damn pesky Jedi? I don't want to see one of those moments.
Lady Witch.
Because obviously the Sith continued the Force. So and to be fair, last point, whatever we think is the Sith Lord or whoever he is, he may be the Acolyte. Or she.
Right.
Maybe.
Right.
There's someone
Right.
else behind the scenes.
And that would be a cool twist, but then you should lean into that twist.
Right. Don't wait till the
walk
very
away
end
from
and you see the guy behind the curtain. If you come on,
Dude, I'll tell you this: if they spent the next 3 episodes making it like a horror movie where the Sith is just hunting the Jedi's down in the forest one by one, like a la Jason or Michael Myers, that I would be like, you know what? I take everything back.
But that's what
That would be great.
the show should have been, right? Showing the
You're
Jedi
absolutely
hunting
right.
them
That's what it should
down,
have
like
been.
really hunting them down in a way like it freaks him out. He's very obviously, I keep saying he could be she, whoever it is, very incredibly powerful. We saw the Force. They. That would have been cool, right? Chasing,
That would have been
hunting
so
them down.
cool.
They're freaking out. We don't know who it is. Who is it? People are dying.
Yeah.
They could have taken May out of the picture, honestly. And at this point, they probably should have. If this is the way they treat her, and then showed as him, that would have been cool. Kind of a little horror-ish vibe and a dark.
That would be super. Like, yeah. Like, and you break the group because there's so many Jedis in that group. Everyone there except for Soul is essentially disposable.
Of course.
Like that's so you make it a horror movie. Now that Sith Lord is Jason and it's just stalking and hunting down these Jedi.
If this show this would have been the first episode, right? With some changes obviously they made. Like I said, amazing, but they were just they got called in to investigate something potential, the Wookiee. Oh, what the hell is going on? And from there it's like a cat and mouse game. That can be really cool.
Like the Predator.
Something like that, right? Something interesting, unique, and different. At least for 3-4 episodes, and then you move to something else. But that would have been what a cool setup that would have been. And now we're engaged. Now it's a mystery.
Right.
Who killed this guy? Who is it? Is it I have no idea. The Jedi don't know, which for Ronnie's like, they don't even know who he is, man. This is fucked up. That would have been cool, man. Taking them
so
down
cool, dude.
one by one, and you find, and then open the Pandora's box, and now you get into the Sith. But again,
what
it's
do
that
we know?
easy.
We're
In
just
5
two
minutes,
nerds talking about it.
It's frustrating, man. This is what we get. I swear to God. Like I said, we juxtapose it with Game of Thrones, and the boys is like, it's just such inferior work in comparison to those
In
shows.
you're right. In
Yeah,
comparison,
and
it's like if it was in a vacuum, maybe there's some leniency. But when you're seeing these other
that's what I'm
shows
saying.
nailing it
They're nailing
on
it.
budgets smaller than what you
Substantially
have,
smaller, and they're still going on. So watching all these shows, and sequentially, we got this, we got the Boys Tomorrow, and we got a Game of Thrones Sunday. So we're watching it all at the same time. It's like
yeah,
it's more glaring when you watch this and you put on Game of Thrones. God damn, it's not even close.
yeah,
It's like a different world, man. So and that it makes it even worse. I don't know why they chose to release it during that time of the year. To be honest with you, like, do you really want to
you
be
should have saved it for the
saved it for
fall,
like the fall? Right, nothing's Game of Thrones ends in July, whatever,
right?
August or whatever,
September, yeah,
September.
perfect.
Put it in there, right? Boys is done. This
Absolutely.
is done. Okay, the big
Deadpool would
shows.
have been gone. Like you're like,
Deadpool's
oh, what else is
gone.
next? We got this
The
now.
Bear is the ends in July.
The
All
bear,
right, the
yeah,
Bear's coming out. The Bear's gonna be great.
that's
I
gonna be
mean, come
great.
on. I think Umbrella Academy is August, so September would have been a good spot for it. You're putting in the middle of the heat, man. It's just not gonna work. I'm sorry, dude. It's just not.
Like I said, in comparison, it really showcases your shortcomings,
Exactly,
and that's a
and that's
problem.
not a good thing, right? I mean, you would have seen it anyway, but it just becomes more glaring when you see
Yeah,
this is good writing. This is what I'm talking about. This show doesn't give it to us. It's a shame. But
yeah,
that being said, listen, I remain optimistic. I want to be fair. Things could change, right? I'm only judging what I've seen.
yeah.
Maybe it gets worse, maybe it gets better. And I hope next week, I hope you're right about that. The WoW episode. And
We'll see.
we need something.
That's
We
what
need something.
that's what
It'll be a start.
that's what I heard. But we'll see.
I mean, I don't want. It's not going to solve everything, but it's a start.
No,
But let's go in the right direction.
it'll give him a momentary reprieve, and as a Star Wars fan, we need that. We
Right.
need at least
we
one
need something.
momentary
We hope. We
reprieve
need
of like, oh, they
something.
got it. So
That's
yeah.
what. Maybe Homelander comes in. Now we're in business. Throw the deep.
I'm better than
Throw in
you.
the deep, hooking up with Admiral Akbar. Come on, bro. Come on. That's a match made in heaven right there. That's what I'm talking about.
It's a clap trap.
Yeah. Now we got a crossover. But that being said, we'll hope for the best, and those are the nuggets for the week.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning into the show. We appreciate all the love and support you always give us. Don't forget to follow us on the social medias. Add Nerdsplaining Pod on Instagram. Add Nerdsplaining _ on X Twitter. Let us know what you thought about the episode. Let us know what you thought about our pitches. What's your take on how to fix the Acolyte or changing pacing? We love to hear all that as well. Don't forget, if you want to hear the original audio episodes, go to ericdasilva.com, ERICDASILVA. While you're there, pick up my album, Adorably Offensive, as well. I got more shows coming up, so make sure to be tuned for that as well. And just like me and Jose talked about earlier in the show, check out my comic Danger Squad at dangersquad.com. I'm going to look into find out what's going on with these glitches, but follow the social media posts. If you see something weird, please let us know. We'll look into that as well. We'll figure out what's going on. Sorry about the confusion. And, let us know what you talk about the whole show, what you want us to talk about, and we'll always get back to you as much as we can. Once again, my name is Eric Da Silva. This has been Jose Romero. We have been Nerdsplaining, and if you don't know, now you know. Boom.